All right. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Tap In today in a little different setting. So we've decided to meet live. Why not? Because we're both in Copenhagen. And I'm guested by you. I'm so glad. Lana Kunštek.
Yes, thank you very much.
Am I saying your name correctly?
It's Lana Kunštek.
Yes.
But it's perfect. Everybody calls me Lana here.
Okay.
So here I'm Lana.
Yeah. So, I found you here in Copenhagen, but you work probably mostly with clients from all over.
Yes, I have clients all over the world. In Copenhagen, I work mostly with expats.
Okay.
And yeah.
People are here for a short period of time.
Or just or shorter periods of time, and also people who live here and they were trying to find somebody who's maybe in a similar situation as them, and it's English speaking therapist and that type of thing.
Yeah, an open mindset, not a narrow-minded English. No, I get it. So you are a body-oriented psychotherapist.
Yeah,
and in particular, I found you because you were doing a course on dream work.
Yeah,
and I hope today we're gonna speak a lot about dreams. And how to let that be a path inward, right? To recognize even patterns and have guidance, maybe understanding yourself better through dreams. And I'm also just interested in hearing your journey with everything that got you to this place. So maybe you want to start there. Like, how did you get into this spacey field of working with dreams?
Well, I started as a client myself, and I'm very imaginative, and I'm a dreamer. So I dream a lot. And even when I was a kid, dreams were very part of who I was. And I feel like most of my life I was living somewhere more in the dream and imaginative world than in this world, in this embodied material world. So that's why body psychotherapy actually was the exact medicine that I needed, because it helped me to understand that my inner world is actually real and very tangible, and it can be felt through the body. Yeah.
So it wasn't that it came easy to you with the somatic part, but you needed it because otherwise it would go off.
Yeah, sometimes people who get to know me more personally ask me, how come you work so much with the body, but you seem very floaty and very airy? And I said, yes, because working with the body is my medicine.
Exactly.
And I know how important it is to be able to embody all parts of us and to experience life through the body. Because where do we experience life if we're not through the body, through our senses, through our heart,
Yeah. And through some dissociative state, probably, if not body.
Yes, but then we can't own that experience. It's sort of as it is fleeting, and it's not ours.
Yeah.
So for me, the first time when I started with my personal therapy, I was like, oh my God, I'm real. It was so healing for me.
Yeah.
And I'm sure for...
What kind of therapy was that? Was it like somatic experiencing?
It's officially called the core evolution psychotherapy. Okay. These are one of the pioneers of body-oriented psychotherapy in the world. Their name are Sigmar and Cornelia Gierken. They're actually Germans, but they live in the States. And they were having teachings all over the world. And then when I've seen them coming to Slovenia, which is close to Croatia, where I'm from, I was like, I have to be there. I have to be there.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So it was like a soul calling.
Definitely.
This is for you.
And I remember I went to Sigmar's lecture. I was like, I'm going to see his lecture before I enroll in the training. And in that lecture, I was like, oh, this is my teacher. You just know.
Yes, you just know. Wonderful. Yeah. Are they still, or is he still?
Yes.
Teacher?
Yes. I'm actually having supervision with Cornelia later today.
Okay.
And I'm going to start one of her other trainings. She has they have more trainings. And I'm probably going to go to his retreat in Tuscany this summer. So I'm still working with them.
It's endless, right? It's that.
It is, yes.
There's so much to study. And I feel like every time I get a new client, I'm like, I need a new course.
And I think it's kind of natural, because I also realize that every time I have a new client, they basically teach me how to work with them. So I can't use the same approach on two different people. It's like, yeah.
And I really feel this is related to the dream world, because every person, I feel, is a mystery. It's like, I don't know who you are. I don't know all of how you can be and how you're connected. And it's so interesting to get to know you, right?
So, yeah.
And then when we think about the dream world, that is for sure a mystery. At least it's a language you need to learn. That's usually we don't have that fluid in the beginning.
Yeah. Well, I would say exactly what you said. It's like a whole universe, and it's very individual. So I cannot say that there are like some scientific research. I mean, there are, but like in a sense of how to interpret your dreams. It's more about understanding who you are as a dreamer, and to understanding yourself, whether you maybe have like reoccurring dreams, or you dream certain things in certain periods of your life. Or maybe you had dreams like 10 years ago and now you have the same dream again. So it's all about understanding how you dream and who you are as a dreamer. So it's a really great tool to understanding your unconscious.
And so you started with connecting with the body. That's how you found yourself, I guess, both personally and as a therapist.
Yeah.
And then when did you and how did you integrate dream work?
I think it's kind of natural that, because it's who I am. I was a dreamer.
Yeah.
So of course dreams were coming up a lot in my personal sessions, because I would come to my session and be like, oh, you will not believe what kind of dream I had. So then I was working with dream. Also with this teacher I mentioned, Cornelia, she was also doing dream groups, and she was very and she was really amazing. She was teaching us also how to work with dreams. So it's also a passion of hers. And here, when I moved here, I met a Jungian psychotherapist, Ksenia Platonova, who I'm co-facilitating dream group.
Okay, you're together on that.
Yes. And since she is Jungian, they're very, they're incorporating dreams a lot in their work. So she was already doing that, and I was also already doing that, but we were having slightly different approaches.
I was just going to ask, because recently on this podcast, someone shared with me that there's a big difference in working with dreams in the Jungian sense, and maybe I'm confusing this. Maybe she was actually talking about the Freudian sense and the Jungian sense, but at least there's different ways of working with dreams. It's not just one thing, right? It can be very, maybe like after the book, following exactly this means this or that, and it can also be maybe what you're talking about more subjectively to that particular person. I don't know. Is that
it's hard for me to say exactly what is the Jungian approach. Ksenia would be better in that sense. But what I know is that they are also like using a lot of associations and active imagination and understanding of who is a dreamer and what's a certain thing, like a smell maybe they had in a dream. What does it mean to a person? So I don't think that there is no like a book or interpretations that we should use. I would never recommend that to anyone. I mean, you can do anything you want for fun.
Yeah.
But if you really want to understand your dreams, is to understand what something means to you. Like if I dream about a running cat and you dream about a running cat, this could mean something symbolically, but it also means different thing for you and me. And I know that in Jungian approach, they're using a lot of symbolism in their work. So what does the dream mean symbolically? But since I don't do Jungian myself, I cannot...
So how do you work with dreams if it's not... How do you interpret dreams if it's not symbolic?
I do interpret it symbolically, but I also interpret it through the body. So if somebody, for example, let's stay with the running cat.
Yeah.
If somebody dreams about the running cat, then it's also to understand what is their connection to cats in general.
Yeah.
But more than that is like, how do you perceive that cat in your body? then a person would say, oh, I feel it. I feel like my shoulders want to move, you know how cats are very. And then all of a sudden you get a person doing a movement. So that energy of the cat and that symbolism of a cat is already something that is tangible, and it becomes personal. And then you can ask, like, what is the impulse of that cat? What does she want to do? Where does she want to go? And then you can say, I want to feel free. And then you understand, okay, in this context.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. I hope the listener can also put in their own dream and try and ask those kind of questions. I'm just doing that myself, like, oh yeah. So would you ask that of any character or any element in a dream? Like, what is the impulse of that?
I would see what character a person would feel is maybe the most significant in the moment, or possibly when you listen to somebody's dream, then you can see what are the maybe reoccurring elements and what element really stands out. What do you feel is kind of like the aha moment of the dream? But you can go through each element.
The aha moment of the dream.
Yeah, but there's like a really nice book. I think it's called Inner Work, from Robert Johnson. I think he shares how to work with dreams.
But how do you work with dreams?
Yes, like this, like I explained. Yes. Yes, exactly. I work like this. So to feel into basically what is the flavor of the dream. First, how I work with dreams with clients and with myself is similar, but also not the same. And like every morning when I wake up, I'm like, okay, what is the feeling of the dream? So then I'm more focused on the feeling of the dream than on the whole story of the dream. And then I went to that place and this place, or, oh, something feels, what is the general feeling of the dream?
But that can be confusing, right? The feeling of the dream, because it depends on when the feeling is. When I wake up, then it can be quite frustrating to the everyday ego.
Yes,
like, oh, why did I dream that, right?
Yeah, that could be like a mindfulness practice. If I go back into that dream, what is the general feeling of it?
Okay, yeah.
And that type of thing, sort of like revisiting the dream.
Yeah. Okay.
And something that stands out, if there is an archetype or maybe a jewel. I remember I was dreaming once about pearls that my grandmother gave me. And when I was going through that process, I understood that it was some wisdom from her that also was important to receive, but also to keep, sort of as protecting her legacy. And that was actually very felt in my body.
That's good.
Yeah.
So you felt it, that you kind of knew this is about legacy, for example.
I felt it in the body, so I wasn't going into mental interpretations, although it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Now when I say it, and jewels are something that's usually like goes from generation to generation.
Yeah, but I guess it's bigger in a way.
Yes,
when you feel it from the inside.
Yes, exactly. Because when I was like, there were pink pearls, and I was asking myself, how do I feel these pearls? And it's just something in my heart, almost as something like pink and feminine. And that was something that I was like very open, and in my hands I was like almost as this gesture of receiving, was giving something. And then there was also this element of keeping. But I was guided in that process. So that's important. An important thing is to be guided. Is that? I mean, not necessarily. Okay. In this aspect, I was guided. It was in the middle of a dream group. But of course, you can also I think if somebody just writes down their dreams, it's also very beneficial for dream work.
Yeah, I have a practice of that.
Yeah.
And then I often skip it. I'm often really busy in the morning, right? There's so many practices I want to do before I have to rush up to work.
Of course, yeah.
But I do dream, and I have seen how I can remember more from writing it down.
Yeah. That definitely helps. And also to understand yourself better.
Yeah.
To understand dreams. If maybe you dream the same element that reoccurs and that shows up in different dreams, and then you can maybe connect them.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to ask you about one of those symbols, but I also just want to touch on when you talk about here with the groups, because my experience is that anything in a group is like lifted many times.
Definitely. Oh, yes, that's so true. Yes.
So what happens in a dream group?
I don't know. I feel like we tap into a shamanic place. This is how I perceive it. Like we're almost like sitting by the fire as our ancestors would, and we're just sort of diving and moving between realms. I seriously feel like one leg is here in this material world, and another leg is there in the dream realm. And we do something that Xenia does. It's called Dream Matrix. It's actually very Jungian. And Dream Matrix is basically that it lasts for 30 minutes. I think it can last longer. It can last longer also. And then we just share dreams. Or I share my dream, and then maybe you feel like you received an association for your dream, and then we just share dream and see how we're all connected.
So that's a dream matrix.
Yes.
It's when you say something and I...
Yes. It could be dreams or synchronistic events. Or just to understand.
Do you help each other with the interpretation? Do you say like,
we actually never do that. We never do that. The only thing you can say in the group is if you do have an association, you can start the sentence with, if this was my dream.
Yeah.
So
that's okay if I say, if this was my dream.
Exactly. Yes.
Then I think it would mean this and that.
Exactly. Because it's also another thing that we don't know actually what happens in the dream world, and we don't know. It's sort of also like a physiological, psychological, but also a spiritual event, and maybe something that you have dreamt can influence me. Maybe something from your dream can mean something to me. So let's say you dreamt that you were riding a dragon, and I'm just going through some stuff emotional where I feel like, let's say I am dissociated from my inner strength, and when I feel into you riding a dragon, I already feel this strength is waking up inside of me. So then if this was my dream, then that would mean this strength and freedom. So in that sense, we're kind of like honoring the dream and the dreamer itself by not interpreting it.
For someone else, you mean? Like, so I'm looking at it from my own perspective.
Yeah.
And then it's beneficial to both of us. And so there's a point here around the interconnection. But do you think this is where it gets mind-blowing, right? Where it's like, what is this intelligence that's weaving us all together? And was I meant to be here and hear your dream and then get that out of it that I got? Or is it just whatever is there I can use?
I mean, it's so beautiful what you said, because I really resonate with that. We can only like honor that higher intelligence and see what gift we can receive while we're in that space of this unconscious, or maybe even like a higher consciousness in that sense. So there is so much beauty there, and it's almost as if we are guided by by something bigger than our humanity and our egos. And it's a very soulful work, because you do feel more connected to your soul. And the thing about dreams is that they're very direct.
Okay.
Very clear and very direct. So maybe some stuff that you would be avoiding and you don't want to look at, the dream will be very direct with its message. Like you have shadow dreams, when you dream maybe somebody's haunting you, or that type of thing, or some nightmares. Nightmares are maybe like extreme way of something needs to be seen here.
Right. Okay, so I want to give you a simple, let's see what you say about it.
Okay.
So babies, and obviously often that's connected to a new beginning, so new life. Okay, so I have several questions. I want to hear your associations to that, just like with your experience, what could it be about? And then I also want to hear your opinion about your view on when we think, oh, maybe it's just because I just saw a baby on the street.
Well, that's the question.
That's the question. Is that influencing it, or
whether I dreamt a baby and then I influenced me seeing a baby?
Yeah. Okay.
So it's kind of like, I think it's Native Americans who have, or Aborigines who have this belief that what is the real world, whether we're the one who is dreaming or we're the ones who are being dreamt.
Right.
So these are the questions I don't think I have opinion on that. I can just sit in my presence and...
Yeah, but that's a bigger question than I wanted to ask you.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, that's a good one. Just like if I see stuff, or if I see a movie and then that shows up in my dream, and then should I just say, oh, it's just a leftover from my day consciousness and I shouldn't take it as seriously? And other dream interpreters should say, no, it's as serious to work with. However,
I would say it could be as serious, but of course, depending on where we are in life, some dreams do feel like more intense, more vivid and more important and more clear. But it's also about what was the movie? What did this movie mean to you? And what is happening underneath? Like if you dreamt about, I don't know, give me an example.
Well, I do want to ask you about babies.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can take that as an example. The symbol of babies show up in dreams. I have that a lot.
Oh, that's a really good one. I mean, I cannot tell you what babies mean. It's just, what does it mean to you? What would be your feeling around?
From your experience, what could it be?
I wouldn't go there. I'm sorry. I wouldn't go there. If it was my dream and if I was dreaming babies, for me, that would definitely mean commitment and nourishment and something I really want to commit myself to, take care of it and be present 100% and almost like honor it to grow, sort of, to see it develop.
Oh, that's good.
But that's just my interpretation, so I wouldn't want to...
I know that's like the frame we've set out. Like, it's really personal and subjective, but I do find it inspiring to just get a little like, oh yeah.
Well, I can ask you, how do you feel in the body when you dream about a baby? You don't have to go deep anywhere,
but that's the thing, because I feel one way here, now, awake, and I think it's different. I think I'm still practicing, like, how do I feel in the dream, right? Because it's different than now. Here.
Yeah, and also it's something that, at least the way I approach dreams, and Xenia also, is that in dreams, like everything is a part of us. So if I dream about my ex-boyfriend, I don't dream about him, I dream about me. And what does he represent to me?
Yeah.
Or maybe some aspect of relationship that I was participating in. But so that was like, what is the inner baby? Do you maybe want to use this opportunity while we're on a break to feel into your baby?
I don't think that I can at the moment. Okay. Yeah.
How would you perceive the baby from the dream, like now in the body? Where would it be?
Yeah, it's something you really want to hold, right? That's the feeling I get. I really just want to hold it tight.
And what does that do to you when you do this?
Joy?
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. Safety. Wow. Yeah. Wow. So that's a baby.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
I solved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That how to hold on to joy and safety. It's such a powerful symbol.
Yeah.
Like, how can you bring it it's a recurring dream is what I understood.
Yeah.
So then how can you bring more of joy and not that hold more of joy and safety, and how to be present with that more?
Yeah. And so do you see it as messages in the dream? Do you use it like to live by? Okay, I'm having a dream about a baby. I'm finding out, oh, this is about joy. Now I need more of that in my life.
I do.
Yeah.
I definitely do. There's no judgment if somebody doesn't. Everybody should follow their own process in the way that it feels natural. But because I feel that I am dreaming a lot, and dreams really do speak to me. So then when I do have a dream that feels meaningful, I do incorporate it in my day life. I mean, some dreams are, as you said, they feel like meaningless, or they feel like less important.
Yeah.
So I think one could be maybe in the trap of over focusing on their dream. And then it's also about, but you have a body.
Yeah.
And you should maybe live and be present in your waking life also.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like finding the balance between the two.
Can you give an example of how you would use it as a guidance for your life?
Well, I actually had one reoccurring dream of how I wasn't able to. So I was dreaming about my ex-boyfriend, and then a person who wouldn't let me see him. And I was really trying to see him. It was a reoccurring dream. And then I realized that he represented a part of me. Of course, when I did do inner work, that he represented a part of me, which absolutely has nothing to do with who he is as a person, but just a part of me that wasn't able to regulate myself, a part that wasn't able to regulate itself. And this person who wouldn't let me see him was a lie I was telling myself about life, or about how things should be, or how I should be. And there I had these two themes, regulation and lies. And I felt like this is something that if I really work on that, and if I really am present and just sit with that, like, what are the lies that I do tell myself? Maybe I tell myself I can take on more in the day than I should be taking. Then maybe I tell myself I'm not professional enough, I should have 3 more trainings. But then again, when you know, it's also like it's also like the imposter syndrome. No, I have enough. The truth is that I'm doing this work from the bottom of my heart. I am professional and I'm enough as I am. And then we go into, I'm telling myself the lie that I need to do this, that, or that, because underneath I maybe feel like I'm not worthy enough and I can't regulate that feeling. So then I could see how actually that dream was not at all about my ex-boyfriend and me trying to reach him, because one could easily be like, one could easily mistake, oh, maybe I should call him, you know.
You could. You could be like, oh, I haven't gotten over him, or like have the focus on the character again, like,
yes,
the way that he shows up in the dream. That's really deep.
Yes, that's what I mean. But this was like a reoccurring dream. Reoccurring dreams are usually something that is like my soul was saying to me, no, we're not going to live like this anymore. You're going to sit with this and you're going to change your life in that sense. You're going to look yourself in the eyes and say to yourself, I'm enough, I'm worthy, and, you know, whatever I need, wherever it was needed.
And did it resolve then? Did it stop?
I didn't dream that.
Okay.
I didn't have that dream, but it's also like a reoccurring process of
thematic,
yes, of regulating myself, you know.
Sure.
It's, as you said, like a lifelong journey.
It sure is.
But at least I had the truth of, I knew exactly what I need to see. What was the, like, a missing point? What was my blind spot?
Yeah, we like that.
Yeah. And dreams are amazing in
for
us. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I remember when I was younger, we had to have a lot of sessions. I also had one education in Croatia, and we had to have a lot of sessions in order to be certified. This is a thing. No more education.
No.
And I remember, since we had to have a lot of sessions, I was like, oh, I don't even know what to work on. Let's work what I dreamt last night. And it was always something really, really deep. But I am a dreamer, so not everyone, I mean, the reason why I mentioned that a couple of times is that if somebody doesn't remember their dreams, that's totally fine. You don't need to.
It just may not be a channel for them.
Exactly. And if you do have a dream, then you can bring that and work with that. But you don't need to push yourself into dreaming more.
No.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's good to know that for some it just, but then you can, there is,
yes, of course is. You can train yourself. I feel like one thing that you can do if you want to remember your dreams, you can, the first thing when you wake up, just like one sentence, one word, one smell, just something, and almost as if you're making it up. Oh, there was like a red towel. We were on a beach. Okay, there was a beach. Oh, there was a friend, and then the story will start unfolding.
That's totally how I experience it.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, because otherwise, if I just think about one thing that I remembered and then go about my day, then I'll forget everything. But if I stick with that symbol and just keep looking at it, then it unravels in a way. Oh yeah, there was also this, and then different scenes come up.
But I'm a natural dreamer.
I'm a Pisces, and you.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It is within the Pisces archetype. I'm just now looking at your chart, because you have the moon in the 12th house. That's also the Pisces archetype.
Okay, so yeah,
that is definitely where I see dreaming.
What does 12th house mean?
It's for me in that illusionary astrology school that I'm brought up in. It's the same as Neptune and as the sign of Pisces on the 12th house. That's a similar archetype, and that's where dreams are connected, because it's this vast timelessness space of everything in a way, and. So yeah, there's no easy way to answer what is the 12th house.
I understand. Yeah, we could do a call another hour just on that, I suppose.
It's a big one.
Yeah.
But it's definitely where we dream and where we go. And it is also too difficult to be in the body. But then I like what you said in the beginning. It's both and, right? We need to land in the body, but then we also need the connection to the other world.
Yes. So everybody should find what is their medicine, like whether you need more of that connection, or whether you need to bring that connection to the body.
We're just having some technical difficulties. This is what happens to me quite a lot. But let's get back into a conversation here. So I was just looking at your moon and the 12th, and that's obviously also related to fantasy, because it's such a vast space there. And I know you also do storytelling and writing. And
yes, I that. Yeah. But so when I moved to Denmark, I started writing a fantasy story, and it's not published. I finished the novel. Now I'm writing a sequel, and it's something that has been guiding me through my personal transition, and it's something that was a guide in my life. And it's so interesting because it's really fantasy. So the main character is unicorns. You have dragons and wolves and kings and queens and a lot of archetypes. And I felt like when I was writing it, it was really coming from my soul, almost as if I was seeing the story, and I just needed to embody myself and find a way to write it and find a way to tell the story. And the most beautiful thing about it for me was that I still see how some characters that maybe I was writing about a year ago are now supporting me on my journey, are now kind of feeling more present and more embodied in myself.
Wow, so this is really the same field we're talking about with dream world and the archetypes.
Yes,
universal energies that can show up.
Yeah, definitely. It's really, for me, it's something to understand myself better, my journey. Where am I going? What is my path? And all parts of me.
But how does it show up for you? That sounds...
you mean the story or in my life?
in the story, the story of your life. Well, just like you're saying, you have access to different archetypes, and
yes, I just feel it present. I feel I don't force myself. I am not a writer in a general sense, and I don't force myself. I don't have deadline. I need to write it until a certain date, and I just feel into today I should write. I ask myself every morning, should I write today? And the answer is yes. Then I just, whatever I do, I give that story, that commitment. So whatever I do, I take out my laptop and I write, and there I really feel the words are just coming to me. It's kind of like a natural flow.
Do you think it's also coming naturally as a flow because you're committed? Is that how it works?
Well, that's definitely connected.
Yeah.
I feel like whatever we commit ourselves to, wherever we put our consciousness and light, something will grow from that. In my case, that's that story, that's that fantasy novel. In somebody else's case, it could be a marriage or a family or a work that they do. Or
even just the simple act of writing your dreams down it seems like when you're taking that step, then the dreams are going to show up more.
Definitely, yeah.
So there's something about committing to the unconscious field or collective thing.
I feel, yes, exactly. I feel like commitment is really important, but not in the way to push yourself into something. Because if I feel like I shouldn't write today, I don't force myself, because I know if I start disciplining myself, say it right, or forcing myself, I would start hating it.
Yes, that's a wonderful point, really. It's a great nuance, right? Because it's always that, like, how to find the balance between discipline and letting go. And when you have a creative work that you want to do, then that gets really real.
I would say commitment for me is definitely a word. Like, if you have marriages that last, there's always this level of commitment, but it doesn't mean that there are no challenges and that there are no moments when you maybe think, I really want to leave this person, but you still commit. And you don't need to be disciplined to be the perfect wife every day. So you can be messy and raw and angry and, but you still honor that commitment you gave to someone.
Yeah.
For me,
similar here in the spiritual path.
Exactly. It's like, do you do the work? Do you come every now and then when there is a problem that you want to fix? Or do you really commit yourself to yourself and to your soul every single day? It doesn't have to be like, I need to meditate 15 minutes a day, otherwise I'm not gonna be enlightened or something. It's just about how do I commit myself to myself today? Maybe today I'm gonna need more rest. Maybe today I'm going to have this amazing spiritual uplifting experience, but this is just, I do something for myself every single day. That type of thing.
Yeah, no, I think that's really good. I'm just taking it in. That's a good way to say it, and especially with just putting us in the same booth here, where we are so curious. There's so many things we want to do. Probably have that same thing where you want to do so many spiritual routines.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, there's not enough hours in the day.
No. I have to wake up and then not go to work if I should do them all. But yeah, what you're saying, it's actually just about just do something, right? As I'm hearing you.
Yeah.
Just do something.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And feel what you truly need.
Yeah.
Not what you feel like you would need to do. Like, for example, even though I offer movement, and movement is a very important part, I don't move every day, because sometimes the movement of energy, which is important, how the energy moves, not just how the body moves. Sometimes the movement comes in nourishment and in rest and in taking time to do nothing, to be in silence and stillness. And that's when the energy moves in me. Then that's that commitment I'm giving to myself.
I really think that sounds like the highest point, where you don't need something in the outer world to tell you, we need to do this routine, but when you can actually feel your way through it, and that is not like a road to just stop doing it.
Yes, exactly. That is the road, because sometimes something can be a medicine one day, and another day it could be almost poison. Because we just don't resonate. Especially women, we live in cycles. So sometimes I feel more expressive. I want to go out. I want to dance. I want to be a part of, I feel like a flower that's flourishing. I want to connect. But other days I just want to be in my bed, being with myself, being present, just do some breathing and just being with myself.
One day it can be medicine.
Yes.
Other day it can be toxic.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because sometimes if I feel like I should go out of my comfort zone and that day is I stay in the bed and it's like, uh-oh, we're distracting ourselves a little bit, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So feeling into it every single day. Okay. So yes, we were just about to wrap up, and then my camera did its thing, and I have to get that checked out. So I'm happy that you're here just in the end as well, because I do like closure. I do like a proper goodbye and a proper greeting to send you on your way. So yeah, I took a chance there and tried to record in, well, actually out of the therapy space that we both share, Lana and I, but I haven't met her before. I have just seen her poster. Many people are renting that therapy space. So yeah, I just thought she would be excellent to have on here. International outreach. I really like that. Yeah, coming from Croatia, settling in Denmark for however long. I don't even know about that. So, but I did encourage her to go write that book, because she has already written it. It's just not been published. So, yeah, curious to see what the future holds in terms of that. And yeah, wishing you the best. Wishing you the best dream work that can be imagined. So, really just want to let you know that you have a place to call home here. Thank you so much for being with me and tolerating all sorts of things like the camera being tilted and whatever else you have to tolerate. So I really appreciate that, and I do hope that you get a lot of inspiration from these shows. Feel free to contact me if you want to. Be well.